It's that time again, and we have all the action for you again this week.
Here's what you can look forward to on this episode of Sports Extra.
The field hockey team put the crush on the Syracuse Orange.
It was most definitely in the cards for the Heels when the women's soccer team took on Louisville.
And we have some softball preseason action that has us wondering what's in store for this spring.
All that and so much more, Sports Extra starts
right now.
From the University of North Carolina School of Media and Journalism, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics. This is Sports Extra.
Welcome back once again to Sports Extra. I'm Adam Jordan.
And I'm Elena Pirtle. Thanks for tuning in.
Basketball is back in the Dean Dome. Well, at least NBA basketball. In a fun partnership with the Charlotte Hornets, the Dean Dome hosted the preseason opener between the Hornets and the Boston Celtics on Friday. With both teams consisting of some big-time names, such as Celtics star point guard Kyrie Irving, it was a matchup that was bound to have a flashy highlight reel. The former Duke standout played his first ever game in Chapel Hill as the five-time NBA All-Star simply did his thing. Irving ended up with 9 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists in 22 minutes of action. Another person of interest for the UNC faithful was Hornets forward Marvin Williams. Returning to his alma mater, Williams finished the contest with 5 points and 5 rebounds in 21 minutes. It was Hornets rookie, though, Miles Bridges out of Michigan State, bringing the thunder as the newcomer lived above the rim the whole game and was the standout of the contest in his league debut, finishing with 10 points and 8 rebounds in his 24 minutes. And as you can see, Kemba Walker liked it. At the sight of that nice dunk, that was a great highlight from the game that Charlotte was able to win 104-97.
When I was in high school, there was a time where me and Coach Williams had a talk, and there was possible Harrison Barnes and Kyrie Irving package deal that was going to happen, but it just never did. It never worked out, and I ended up going to Duke. And all things worked out. But I'm just, like I said, I'm appreciative to play here.
More than 18,000 people attended the Hornets game, but few know what happens behind the scenes to get events like this ready for prime time. Carlisle Rickenman has the story.
More than 3 months of planning for a 2-hour game. Many never think of what goes into the production of live sports, but Scott Snyder, the Hornets executive producer, certainly knows what it takes.
When I walk in, everybody's asking me what they need to do, so I'm the one that has the plan, and I have to have that set before I even get here.
The Charlotte Hornets played a preseason game in the Dean Dome for the first time since 2006. The Carolina connections go well beyond the court, and playing up that angle is part of the plan.
Then the Chapel Hill theme, obviously Michael Jordan's the owner of the team. Went here, Mitch Kupchak's the GM. He went here, Marvin Williams plays for the team. He went here, Buzz Peterson is the assistant GM. He went here.
6 hours before tip-off, production trucks lined the Dean Dome parking area, and the organized chaos began. Look around and you'll find cameras, graphics machines, and monitors being set up, while producers like Scott brief the team on the plan for the night. It takes a village to pull off a game like this, and that's something you won't learn just watching the game on television. I'm Carlisle Rickenman, reporting.
Fans hope it won't be another 12 years before the Hornets decide to come play in the Dean Dome. Thanks, Carlisle.
North Carolina field hockey dominated yet again in an ACC matchup against Syracuse on Saturday, improving to an impressive 10-0 for the season. Freshman Aaron Matson started UNC's scoring trend off right in the 17th minute. Next for the Heels, it was Ashley Hoffman with a killer penalty stroke from the spot in the 28th minute. The Orange just couldn't catch a break after another halftime goal from Aaron Matson and this key move from Ava Vantehoog. Syracuse did score once, but Bryn Boylan closed the game out with that nice golden goal. 1-on-1, the Heels crushed the Orange in this 5-1 victory and immediately began focusing on what's next.
Yeah, it's a great feeling. We're going to try to keep it going, but one of our focuses this year is to take it one game at a time and not get too ahead of ourselves. So right now, just the most important game is tomorrow's.
In their second game of the weekend against Ball State, the Heels recorded their season-best 9 goals, 7 of them coming in the first half, with 4 coming in hot in the first 15 minutes of action. A season-high 8 different Tar Heels scored offensively, and Ball State didn't do too much with only 2 attempted shots, while the Heels had 29. A look back at this deft putback on a save after a save by Catherine Hayden. She had 2 on the game, now 9 for the season. #1 ranked Heels look to remain undefeated in conference play when they play at home against Wake on Friday. And you might have noticed the beautiful field hockey stadium the team was playing in this weekend. We now go live to reporter Sydney Persing for more. Sydney?
This gorgeous facility is Karen Shelton Stadium. The university announcing just last week that it was to name this brand new facility for Coach Shelton. Our Caroline Boyer says Shelton is overwhelmed with the honor and that her players are not at all surprised that this UNC icon now has a stadium named for her.
The UNC field hockey team is undefeated so far this season, but that's not the only thing they're excited about. The team has a brand new stadium to call home. Senior Ashley Hoffman says the new facility is better than she could have ever imagined.
We kind of like conceptualized it from the drawings, but when we're here, it just blows everything you'd think away.
The new stadium features a seating capacity of 900, a video scoreboard, and a press and scorer's box. There's also a new team facility with a video room, a player's lounge, and a sports medicine space. Head coach Karen Shelton was involved with the entire planning process.
I've been, working through the stadium since it came out of the ground. So we've worked with the architects, with the designers, with the construction company, all the way through.
Shelton is in her 38th season with the Tar Heels and has led the team to 6 national titles and 20 ACC championships. It's no surprise the university is naming the new stadium for her.
And I started crying immediately. I mean, it's just overwhelming, incredibly humbling, and I was just so honored.
The Karen Shelton Stadium is the only UNC facility named after a female coach, and this marks only the second time in history an individual will coach in a facility named for him or her. Shelton says this facility is dedicated to the hundreds of former student athletes she has coached.
If we weren't a very strong program, we wouldn't have garnered enough respect to build a facility of this magnitude. So I have them to thank.
The stadium's dedication will take.
Now, I don't know about you, but I can't imagine a better way to break in Shelton Stadium than with another national championship. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Sydney. It was a clash of the unbeatens on Saturday afternoon when the women's soccer team took on our ACC rival Louisville. Neither team had allowed any goals in ACC play thus far in the season, but that all changed in the 6th minute when Louisville went up 1-0. The Heels answered back in a big way with back-to-back goals in 3 minutes from sophomore Alessia Russo. The Cardinals couldn't answer, and the Heels tacked on 3 more goals before the game was over. Sophomore Taylor Otto notched 2 of those scores. UNC put an end to Louisville's undefeated ACC record and advanced to 9-2-1 on the season. The Heels will be back for more ACC action on Thursday night at Notre Dame.
As they wait for their field to dry out from Florence's aftermath, men's soccer traveled to Cary for a home match against the Clemson Tigers. Leading the way for the Heels was sophomore Giovanni Montes de Oca. With 3 shots on goal, he converted on 2 of them. Giovanni would get his night started with an easy tap into the back of the net off a beautiful assist from Nils Bruning. Gia would then go on to seal the win for Carolina with this header off the back post on a near-perfect pass from Milo Garavanian. 5 goals on the season. Giovanni is having an impressive start to his sophomore year. Heels win 2-0.
Adam, after Saturday's football game against Miami, a blowout, it's time to hit the panic button.
And the Fire Larry forces are back out in full force. We'll take a look at the possibilities are for the program and its embattled coach coming up.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. the little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous.
When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
Here in studio with football analyst Keaton Eberly. Keaton, a 1-3 start. A lot of inconsistencies have led to struggles, and those struggles really fall on the shoulders of the quarterback situation. What do you have for us?
I mean, that's 100% correct, Adam. I mean, Larry Fedora's offenses have always ran at their smoothest whenever Fedora's had a consistent and steady presence at the quarterback position. This year, that just hasn't been the case. I mean, we can look at the two options here so far. Nathan Elliott, who started all of the first 4 games, he has been a safer choice in my opinion. He's been steadier with the ball, but I feel the offense has been stagnant at times with him. And Chaz Surratt, he brought up some interesting dynamics, like introducing the running option plays and jet sweeps and even the Wildcat formation. I mean, UNC was moving up and down the field against Miami, but then we saw good Chaz and bad Chaz.
All right, well, I know you've got a couple clips for us, so why don't you show us good Chaz and bad Chaz?
Oh, I got quite a doozy for you, Adam. Just let's look at this first play. We have Chaz Surratt, fake handoff, goes up the middle and takes it to the house. And that was good, Chaz. And UNC fans were maybe starting to feel hopeful about the quarterback situation.
I know I was.
And, well, yeah, their hopes were dashed quite quickly a little bit later on in the quarter. We have Chaz Surratt about to drop back. And here he gets pressured and, like, what is that? He threw it straight to Joe Jackson's hands. I guarantee you he will never have an easier touchdown in his life. And I mean, that's just the embodiment right there. And I mean, out of the two options, I feel like Larry Fedora could go for the short-term solution with Nathan Elliott, or maybe put in more of a long-term investment with Chaz Surratt and with hopes of developing. But personally, I would go with Elliott. He's just a safer choice in my opinion.
And I'm going to say that they go with Chaz next week.
Really?
I am. What do you think our record's going to be at the end of the year?
I'm not feeling too optimistic. I feel like UNC will be able to get one more win against Western Carolina. After that, I don't think they'll be able to get another win in the ACC.
All right, so 3-8. I'm going to go with 4-7, be a little bit more optimistic.
All right, fair enough.
I'm going to say I hope I'm right. Anyway, that was Keaton Eberly, our football analyst, live in studio. Thanks, Keaton.
Thank you, Adam.
The volleyball team traveled to Blacksburg on Friday to take on the Virginia Tech Hokies, hoping to stay on track. Hunter Atherton had a strong showing with 9 digs, including this one to set up a Destiny Cox kill. But in the second, Virginia Tech's Katie Smith pounds this one down the line for the kill. She collected 16 on the night. On to the third, Ava Bell threw up those strong hands to tie the set at 23, but not so fast. The Hokies said, anything you can do, I can do better, and they sweep the Heels in straight sets with the block to end it. The Tar Heels try to rebound from another tough loss at Miami on Friday.
Softball returned to Chapel Hill this weekend as UNC hosted both ECU and Elon. As the Tar Heels begin their preseason games, there's a lot to look forward to. In Game 1, 5th inning, ECU scored 4 runs, including back-to-back home runs. The Tar Heels tried to bounce back, but were unsuccessful, and the Pirates won 7-5. In the second game of the doubleheader, Brittany Pickett hit a home run in the 3rd inning, hyping the team up for the rest of the game. UNC secured the victory 8-4 against Elon. The Heels will be back in action against NC State on Thursday at Anderson Softball Stadium.
The Diamond Heels played their first fall scrimmage against Walter State on Saturday. After losing in the College World Series, the Heels were eager to get this preseason started off right. Carolina trailed 2-0 in the 7th inning when Ben Kasparius hit this solo bomb to left center field. 1 inning later, the Heels managed to tie the game thanks to Ike Freeman's sacrifice fly. The game ended in a 2-2 draw. The Heels did get a win later in the day in the second leg of a doubleheader.
Elena, have you seen the Hoops Africa film that was put together by a former UNC student?
I haven't. We have an interview with the creator, Taylor Sharp. You'll want to watch this. Stay tuned.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
When they test you, stand firm and move only when you hear the seatbelt click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it. My support team never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew who I could become as a person. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
You may have heard Hoops for Africa around here on campus, but do you know the true meaning of Ubuntu? I sat down with Taylor Sharp to discuss the new film and the impact it's had on him.
The Hoop for Hopes thing kind of just jumped on me. I thought, this is a group that I want to be involved in.
Ubuntu, it's a concept that says you are who you are because of others.
When I do the first teaching of Ubuntu to the team, it's like this African Bushmen teaching them something they never heard of. And so from that point on, it was just like, all right, we on Ubuntu.
So on this week's of What's Trending, we have Taylor Sharp here to talk a little bit about his film on Hoops for Africa. So just relating it back to you, this is your alma mater and sharing your story. How was it, how did it feel when Varsity Theaters premiered your film?
It was so special to bring the film back to Chapel Hill because that's ultimately where it started. Chapel Hill really embraced this film. You know, it's a story about basketball in Africa. It's a story about the African philosophy of Ubuntu. But Chapel Hill, by supporting me, really brought the film right into this community. And I think that's really special because this African philosophy of Ubuntu ultimately comes back to community.
How specifically did you find out about Ubuntu?
So I happened to see kind of in the footnotes of this article about the 2008 Boston Celtics who won the NBA championship, that they were taught about the African philosophy of Ubuntu by a South African guy from this nonprofit Hoops for Hope. I am because we are, you know, is what it kind of translates out to. And I just fell in love with the people who use Ubuntu as a way of life. Mm-hmm. And through this Boston Celtics connection to the world, it was a way to weave it into NBA history forever.
Yeah. How and when did you come up with, this is something that I want to do, I feel inspired to do this?
It all comes back to my summer spent in 2013 in Zimbabwe. I was seeing these stories unfold before my very eyes, and when I left, I really made it my mission to be able to bring those stories back. I really fell in love with the people in Zimbabwe, the kids we worked with, the work that Hoops for Hope does. And so later, as Hoops for Hope, the organization, was partnering with the NBA, and the NBA was holding its first ever Africa game. My host little brother from Zimbabwe was selected as a top prospect to compete in a skills academy there. So I just realized that all these storylines were coalescing, and I felt a calling to document them together.
So what's next for you?
Through this film, I've realized that I have a great interest in finding myself at the intersection of sports and social impact and storytelling. So I plan to seek out those stories where people are using sport for good and trying to introduce them to the world.
Are there any other thoughts you want to share before we are finished?
Well, now that people know about the film, I hope they'll go watch it. It's on iTunes and Amazon, and after watching, you'll know all about why Ubuntu matters.
You know, a lot of people might think that because this played at the varsity and this was made by a Chapel Hill grad, that this is really only a big deal in the sense of Chapel Hill, but this film has a lot of impact worldwide.
Absolutely, and I hate that I missed seeing it at the varsity, but watching it is definitely on my to-do list.
I couldn't agree more, Adam. The outreach has been incredible, so it is definitely a must-see, and that's all I have for you guys.
Well, we're really excited. Thank you for sharing that with us. That does it for this edition of Sports Extra.
Thanks for watching. Have a great night.